Welcome to Motion to Adjourn, the podcast about the work that continues with the Birmingham City Council, beyond what happens on Tuesdays during council meeting.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Or in the committee meeting.
Aye.
After the official motion to adjourn, the councilors continue work on behalf of the city and its residents. Welcome to the Motion to Adjourn podcast. I am your host, Anaya Kenyon. I serve as project manager for the Birmingham City Council. On today's episode, we've got a full lineup for you, from key council highlights to a one-on-one conversation with Pro Tem LaTonya Tate featuring Coreata Houser about the recent ACIPCO expansion, plus updates on upcoming events and important things you need to know. Let's get started. Today, we are diving into some of the most significant items that were mentioned during Tuesday's council meeting. On Tuesday, the council approved an ordinance authorizing a one-year agreement between the Alabama Department of Transportation and the City of Birmingham. This agreement will support the installation, operation, and maintenance of lighting in the Bush Hills neighborhood, specifically along Bush Boulevard beneath I-20 and Alabama 120. Here's Councilor Sonia Smith explaining how this project will enhance safety for residents in District 8.
So yes, lighting is important because it's really a public safety issue. So we know that when you have greater lighting, then you usually have less crime and people feel safer. So if there were to be an accident or someone needed to pull over, they would be less inclined to do so if you didn't have great lighting. So having that lighting there just provides more comfort to the community.
This investment marks an important step in improving visibility, strengthening neighborhood safety, and supporting ongoing improvements across District 8. The council approved an agreement with the Southwestern Athletic Conference, also known as SWAC, to bring two conference matchups to Legion Field during the 2026 and 2027 football seasons. Here's Councilor Hunter Williams sharing more about the significant impact this will have on our city.
We're really excited about the SWAC events that we're bringing. It will be the first time that we're going to expand a little bit into SWAC and bring them into the city of Birmingham. And this will be a 2-year initial contract. So initially we're going to have both Alabama State and Southern University here in Birmingham. We think that with our conversations with each of those schools respectively, we will have roughly 35,000 attendees with an estimated economic impact between $5 and $7 million per game for the next 2 years of that contract. So when we talk about what we continue to have a larger ecoscape and economic development and tourism, which is a cornerstone of that, anytime that we can get heads and beds in our hotels, in our restaurants, and in the city of Birmingham, it is an economic win to both the city and our hospitality industry within the city. So we're always excited to be able to support events and make sure that they come to the city of Birmingham. There's a very comprehensive and competitive bid process. We partner with the Convention and Visitors Bureau as well as the BJCC in many of these bids to make sure that Birmingham ends up on the winning ticket of those bids. And these are two great examples of the city of Birmingham winning those bids and having those people come into the city of Birmingham, staying in our hotels, populating our restaurants in our city for those respective events.
The first game kicks off on August 26. Stay tuned for more updates. The council has also approved an agreement to launch a community-wide brownfield assessment. A brownfield is a property previously used for industrial purposes that may be polluted or abandoned. This assessment will take place in phases to identify these sites, evaluate potential contamination, and determine the best path forward for cleanup. Here's Councilor Clinton Woods explaining how these properties can be transformed into new opportunities.
So we really are targeting just new industries and business. We want to bring manufacturing. We want to really build Birmingham into a tech hub, medical hub. And so having these large, sprawling sites put us in play to attract larger opportunities. And so we've seen other cities in the region be able to go out and attract really large developments. And so we've got to identify and prepare sites that are clean and shovel ready And so this is just moving towards that direction. So what we're talking about currently is the larger sites. And so we're trying to develop as many like large scale 25 plus acre sites as possible that really put us in contention for major projects. But yeah, brownfields are all around the city due to just the types of industries that were here, the steel production process, and just a lot of that contaminated soils. And so we want to, develop the city going forward, but we've got to do it safely and in line with environmental standards. So Ansley Works is a site that we've been looking at pretty closely and are very interested in getting something done there. I think a major success story, though, is going to be the Coca-Cola development. And so that was a brownfield. We were able to kind of coordinate with them, and some new state laws made it a little bit more palatable to do some research. And, long story short, we're able to have a really great development that adds a lot of value to our city.
This marks a meaningful step towards revitalizing and reimagining development across our city. Stay tuned. Coming up next, we'll have our one-on-one conversation with Pro Tem LaTonya Tate featuring Coreata Houser about the recent ACIPCO expansion.
Women's History Month is a reminder of the power of women's voices, past, present, and rising. Birmingham honors the women who lead with vision, courage, and commitment. This month and every month, we celebrate their impact. Happy Women's History Month from the Motion to Adjourn podcast.
Hello, and welcome to Motion to Adjourn. It's Council President Pro Tem LaTonya Tate. Today, we're discussing one of the city's most significant economic developments, the major expansion of ACIPCO, a Birmingham-based employee-owned manufacturing company that's been a part of our community since 1905. Imagine that. With a $790 million investment, 80 new high-paying jobs, and millions in projected revenue for schools and city services, this project is a game changer. Joining us today is Director Coreata Houser, who serves as the Director of Economic Development for the City of Birmingham. We'll explore what this means for local residents, economic growth, and the city's long-term vision. Let's get started. Welcome, Coreata. Can you please tell the listening audience who you are, how long you've been working for the city, and what's your role with the Economic Development Department?
Yeah, so I'm Coreata, happy to be here, proudly serve as the director. I've been with the city about 6 years. I started about 2 weeks before COVID in 2020, and so I've been here through all of that and now on this side. So our office, Department of Innovation, Economic Opportunity, includes the classic economic development arm of the city, workforce and talent development, small business support, real estate management, and then we have a data intelligence team that looks at how we market Birmingham.
Oh, thank you for that introduction. That's a lot of information and a lot of robust information that people know who Coreata is and, the role that you take on as being the director of IEO. Let's start with some questions. ACIPCO is an employee-owned, which is rare in manufacturing. How does this model benefit workers and the community, and what does it mean for long-term stability?
Yeah, I mean, ACIPCO is a major employer in the area. They have invested over the years millions of dollars into their production facility and their employees. And I think uniquely for a manufacturing employer to be employee-owned is another example of how you invest in your employees. And so you see how they treat their employees, their pay, how they serve the community as well. And so I think all employer partners can mimic something relative to what ACIPCO is doing. So this addition of 80 new jobs at $55 an hour is massive. The livable wage in Birmingham is about $23 an hour. That's double what they're going to be paid. And so that's going to be crazy incentives for folks to live, work, and invest in Birmingham.
Oh, that's awesome. I can remember ACIPCO, very familiar with ACIPCO pipe shop, as we call it. My grandfather worked for ACIPCO for about 40 years.
Oh, wow.
So they were a major, milestone in my family. They have had a credit union, so we enjoyed the benefits of what my grandfather was able to, provide for his family while working there. Mm-hmm. So We remember, can remember going to the Eagles Cafe, which my grandmother was a very great part of that, because the former owner, Mr. Joe Rooker, also worked at a ACIPCO pipe shop, and my grandmother ran the cafe for him when he was working. So let's move to our next question. ACIPCO products support water, wastewater, and energy infrastructure nationwide. Why is this expansion critical for maintaining that role?
I think for us in Birmingham, being a logistics and advanced manufacturing hub, continued investment like this into current infrastructure helps us be more competitive, not only in the Southeast, but the U.S. and really the globe. Because as we travel, talking about Birmingham, lifting Birmingham up, getting businesses to come, these are often the question of like, who's your major employer? What investments have they made? So to see a story like this from 1905, right? 1906, 1905, yes, somewhere in there, until today, and their continued investment over and over into that. It's amazing, right? It puts us on a competitive market for current industry that is in Birmingham that we can attract more to Birmingham as well.
Birmingham seems to be all over the map, the news. When you turn the TV on, you hear these great things about, the history of Birmingham. When you read business journals, people are, coming to Birmingham because of the rich history. Birmingham's just becoming a major game changer, for people who wants to do business. So, again, this is a game changer. And you hit on this a little bit, but I'm going to lean into this next question. The project will create 80 new full-time jobs. What type of positions are we talking about, and how will this impact employment opportunities in District 9?
I think it's a combination of all, right? Obviously, there'll be, I think, some promotions that'll happen because ACIPCO invest in their employees. They have an apprenticeship model. We didn't talk about that, but they have an apprenticeship model that is for their employees only. So I would imagine this is an opportunity for promotion as well. But I think uniquely for this opportunity, it's a headquarter expansion and also a manufacturing facility expansion. So I think we'll get sort of both. So I think there's a variety of jobs that'll be available even from, I think, the corporate side and also the manufacturing side. Part of what they do in their work is sort of advanced manufacturing and sort of highly specialized. So I would imagine that there are some skill sets that are needed in order to get these jobs. But I would encourage everybody who's listening to go to ACIPCO's website to find out more about these opportunities and others that they have too, because we're talking about a $790 million, I believe, CapEx investment. So I'm sure that there's going to be some opportunities on the construction of new facilities directly with the ACIPCO, subcontractors, all kind of things. So I would encourage everybody to get involved with this project, both from the expansion standpoint and also directly with the ACIPCO.
Thank you, Coreata. So you also hit on this as well with the average salaries around $114,000 and hourly rates near $55 an hour. You talked about the livable wage. In most companies, about 23 hours. I would imagine that people that are looking to invest into Birmingham, this would have people to raise the bar a little bit.
Yeah.
And so these jobs are well above the industry norm. How does this affect Birmingham workforce development strategy?
When we talk about high-paying quality jobs, this is what we're talking about, right? A company that invests in their employees, not by just what they do day to day, but how they pay. And so this puts us at a competitive advantage when we talk about recruiting businesses or businesses want to expand. We have a model that looks good to us, right? Workforce development is not just about getting a job. It's how you maintain, stay, and grow in that job. And this puts the level field at a point for all of our residents to say, now, we want them to stay at ACIPCO forever, right? And I'm sure ACIPCO do too. They want them to retire.
Yes.
But let's say that there's another opportunity for someone who works 5 years at ACIPCO and they started at $55 an hour. In 5 years, where's that person going to be, right? So when we're talking about living in Birmingham, working in Birmingham, now with this type of funding and investment and as far as what they pay, they can also invest in Birmingham. And I think that's the one that we often forget, that workforce is not just about getting people paid, right? That's a big part of it as a business owner, it's a big part of your operational cost is payroll. But when you think about how to grow a city, it's not just what we pay, but it's also what we invest in. These 80 jobs will be able to invest into Birmingham because they're paid way above the livable wage here in Birmingham. So I am sure that these 80 jobs are going to yield a return and impact that we could not even imagine. And think about what's next, right? Their next expansion, if this is the floor, what's the next expansion going to be? So this is a game changer for our residents to have access to these jobs, but not only access, training and sustaining these jobs for a long term and hopefully into retirement.
I agree with you, Coreata, because workforce development, and as you stated, I think most companies should think about how do you model behind a company like ACIPCO, where you offer in-house transition, where you can get more training to increase your skill set and to, be a part of the workforce development. You talked a little bit about the investment back into, the community. So, the county projections show about $11.4 million for the general fund and $25 million for local schools over the incentive term. How does this expansion strengthens our physical health and education systems? That's super important.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think in 2024, ACIPCO remitted about $300 million in payroll tax. So it had about $300 million in payroll taxes. So this will expand that sort of tax base in order for us to make sure that we're continually investing into not only people, but our infrastructure. And so obviously as a city, as Councilor Pro Tem well knows, infrastructure is very important for us, not just the physical, but the human side as well. And so jobs like this not only directly impact people with quality paying, but for the business, they have to pay taxes on that. And the city will receive those taxes and then utilize them through the approval of our city council on how that is used for infrastructure needs. So for our city, particularly for ACIPCO, but all jobs that we get like this, we take that tax funding that they remit back to the city and then try to make the best decision on where to invest that in physical infrastructure around the city. So we all see the growth and feel the growth and not just the people getting the jobs.
Thank you for that, Coreata. That is super important. That leads me to my final question. So looking ahead, how does ACIPCO Growth position Birmingham as a leader in advanced manufacturing and infrastructure solutions?
Yeah, so I think, again, it puts us in a more competitive advantage. They've been headquartered here, not just in Birmingham. They've been headquartered here for almost 100 years. So that is massive. Some people just come to Birmingham and operate a business, but to headquarter here makes a difference. And so I think for other employers, for those who are looking to invest in Birmingham, absolutely use this as a model, right? Now, because they've been in business for 100 years, they have a business model that works for them. If you're not that established and you're a little newer and you need to come to the city and seek support, we have support for that too. So don't just think that we're doing big capital projects like this, but we help small businesses as well. And so I think there's learning points for everybody involved, from small, medium to even large size businesses, that at the end of the day, if you take care of your people, the people will take care of your business. And I think that's the message that we want to send out. And obviously we want to make Birmingham look better while we do that, but we offer the support needed, just as with the ACIPCO, we'll offer that to small businesses as well.
This brings us to the end of today's discussion on the ACIPCO historic expansion and what it means for Birmingham's future. A special thank you to Mr. Coreata Houser for sharing valuable insights on how this project will drive job growth, strengthen education, and enhance community development for years to come. We appreciate you for tuning in, and we look forward to continuing these conversations about progress and opportunity in our city. Until next time, take care. I'm your host, Council President Pro Tem LaTonya Tate, and let's stay connected.
Here are some updates and upcoming events that you should know about. Due to the absence of a quorum during the week of March 16th through the 20th, the City Council meeting scheduled for Tuesday, March 17th has been canceled. Most councilors will be in Washington, D.C., attending the National League of Cities Congressional City Conference, where local leaders from across the country gather to discuss policy, learn from experts, and connect with one another. The council will resume its regular meeting scheduled on Tuesday, March 24th. The Indy Car Series Grand Prix of Alabama returns to Barber Motorsports Park from March 27th through March 29th. It's one of the premier motorsports events in our region, and tickets are available now. The 2026 American Athletic Conference Basketball Championships are now underway at Legacy Arena through March 15th, bringing top-tier college basketball talent to the Magic City. Tickets are on sale now. Councilor Crystal Smitherman will host the Keep It in the Family Estate Planning, Heirs Property, and Home Ownership event on Saturday, March 28th at 10 a.m. at the Grove, Birmingham. This community education session brings together city leaders, real estate professionals, and legal experts to break down heirs property, wills, and estate planning in clear, accessible language, all with the goal of helping families build long-term stability and generational wealth. Thanks for listening to Motion to Adjourn. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast to learn more about your city and local government. Also, follow us on our socials on Instagram and Facebook at City Council Birmingham. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.